Yeah, a lot of thought goes into it, and I think maybe the most fun for me is everybody has something to look forward to, even in the off season. Like there's really the league never ends, and even if you're in last place in the league, there are things you can do because there are trades that people will want to make so they can be more competitive and you can draft better.
Hmm.
I think this is my first dynasty league, the one that we're all in, and I mean, I just can't imagine not being in a dynasty league now because it gives you that fulfillment of doing fantasy football, but it's damn near all year round. I mean, there's very few months where we don't have action going on in the league, and I think that's super
Hmm.
fun.
Yeah.
Drew, talk to me a little bit about startup because a league like this with the longevity that it has, I mean, how do you find a group of people that will commit? Because obviously you're looking for people that commit to a team for the long term. So how do you kind of find those people? And then how do you choose, how do you actually start this league up? What was your kind of strategy?
Yeah, I can maybe I'll just talk to how like this league started, to kind of walk through the mind flow there because Travis and I did this. So we were in our first dynasty league together, I think in 22, and had an awesome time. Learned a ton through that first year. I took a lot of that and applied to how I built my team in this league. Now that I had like a year under my belt, but we had some, there are people in the league that we just like knocked heads with, or we didn't like how the commissioner ran things, or anything you complain about any redraft league. Um, but we loved the format so much. We just wanted a second space to kind of like experiment with like a different rule set. So like we're in a 12 team, full PPR, start nine. We wanted to start with, well, what's a 10 team half PPR look like? Start 11, so we can still spread some of that league depth out. That was how we set the format. Was essentially what are some different variations of the rules that we haven't played before, and let's do that here. And then once we were at 10 people, with two, Travis and I like kind of co-commission so we can bounce ideas off of each other. We decided the entire like rule set up front. It had like a I don't know rule book essentially with all like bylaws. And then once we established 10 people, we tried to balance, a good mix of some of his friends, some of my friends, and then we would be kind of the go between to until the relationships were there. So you want to find dudes that really like football because you want it to be year round engagement. You want guys that are not necessarily like extroverts, but like comfortable participating in at least like a forum, on the internet with strangers, which most people are these days. And not having like too thin a skin because you want to be able to like, tease people, or you don't want them to freak out and overreact to things because it is dynasty. Um, and then you also want people that are going to take to the format, and we think that they'll want to like stay invested in it because you don't want to then have that owner that bails every year because he's just not really paying attention, and then you have to kick him for inactivity, or he's just not into it because his team's not good, or he made a bad trade and it didn't work out, and then you have to go find a replacement owner for that team, and now it's a bad team, and they're not having fun because they just get to sit there and immediately tear it down and rebuild. Which, I mean, it is fun, but that's not what you want to do right when you join a new league for the most part. So those were a lot of things that went into it. I think we got a good mix. We learned some things with some of the members. We've learned how to engage with some people or mediate a little. We've had one guy leave, and then we filled in with that spot, and our replacements like worked out really well so far. No complaints. You seem to be enjoying it, but that was most of the process, at least for like starting this league up.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know this, Drew, but I actually commissioned a league for I want to say like 9 years
Mm,
with like my high school buddies. And I know how it is to like try and mediate personality clashes and keep people invested and deal with inactivity. But I've done
yeah,
it in a redraft format. And I can only imagine all of that becomes amplified with Dynasty for the reasons you've already highlighted here.
yeah. It that and it being a year to year thing, so people's relationships matter and trades matter because they impact a team. So you have to really like think a ton about it. And as commissioners, you're in a weird position a lot with some of that stuff, but
Yeah. I,
Yeah.
because you want the
Yeah.
health of the
It's
league to be like first and foremost.
right. Cause like we've had those conversations and we had those conversations all the time about like, when the replacement guy came into the league, like I jumped in and was like, hey, like send me some of your good players and I'll send you some players that, whatever. But like I remember like having that conversation like internally and also with Andrew, because like as commissioners, it's kind of your responsibility to maintain the kind of health of the league. And like the worst place in dynasty football to be is a team with no good players and no draft capital, because there's no way
Yeah.
out. Like you basically just have to wait until you get more draft picks, right? And so you got to kind of try to find that sweet spot for somebody coming in. And we've flirted with the idea of like locking that trade, locking that roster down for 6 months or a year, so they can't make any trades that could hurt them until they get kind of the swing of things and understand how things go. But at the end of the day, it's like we're all adults, we all signed up for this. As long as you're committing to it, then it's on you to kind of trade who you want to. But it is really interesting to kind of be in a two commissioner setting and have those conversations, because there was a situation where we haven't had any 3-team trades in our league, and Andrew and I had one teed up with another manager. Everyone would kind of get the guys that they liked, like it all seemed fair. And then like right before like we accepted, like Andrew and I had a conversation like, how is this going to be received by the rest of the guys in the league if like you and I are making a three-way trade with like one guy who has had some questionable trades in their history. Shout out
Yeah.
Bryce. It's an hour and he ain't listening to this anymore. Uh, but it's just like, it's like our guy's gonna freak out and be like, "This is stupid. The commissioners are taking it," because there is that like extra level of like, it's our responsibility as co-commissioners to kind of make sure that the league continues to
Yeah.
move forward. And so
Mhm.
it's really interesting. I'm really glad that we're kind of doing this together, because it's hard, to be the guy on the top of the hill having to make all decisions by themselves.
Yeah, I don't envy it. Like I said, I've been in that situation before. I'm thankful that at this stage of my life, that's not a situation I'm in. And Drew, you know me pretty well. I typically like being the guy, for things that I'm involved in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm very thankful that you two are the guys, and I think you guys are doing a fantastic job. And it's really fun just to kind of talk about this sometimes. And I
Appreciate that.
I really think the co-commish strategy was very smart. It alleviates the pressure from one person, and there's also, like you said at the beginning, kind of personalities from like two different sides of friend groups that have all been slowly meshing together. And there's ways that you two can kind of work through that together. And I personally love the format, and this league is the most fun that I've ever had in fantasy football. So I just
Love hearing
appreciate
it.
and thank you guys for bringing that together.
Uh,
And
Appreciate that.
yeah, no, I mean, just to kind of recap, I was going to ask you guys about kind of long term strategies
Mhm.
when it comes to dynasty leagues, but we've already kind of highlighted this. So I'll try and summarize a little bit. But basically, if you're not a competitive team, there's still work for you to do. You can still improve your team through trading, through drafting. Um, you know, there are ways to look ahead. And I think one thing that you guys have done very smartly is that if somebody trades their first round draft pick for a year, then they have to pay the dues for that year. So that way, if all of the stars don't align, if I suck and I trade all my draft picks and I still suck, and then I leave the league, I'm not leaving somebody with a shitty team and asking them for money.
Mhm.
So I think that was the smartest thing that could have been done. And for the one replacement that we've had, great pick. I mean, he fits in perfectly. I had a lot of fun. And
Maybe too many Bears fans now, but yeah.
one too many, or two too many. But yeah, no, I'm playing. But no, Luke, right? His name's Luke in real
Yep.
life. Yeah, good dude. A lot of fun to banter with, and he fits in perfectly. So great choice. Let's move. I've got a couple of questions for you, and this is going to look at historically at our dynasty league. So I'll ask each of you this. Travis, first, what is the best move that you think that you have ever made in our dynasty league for your team?
I was thinking about this, and I was like, I make so many trades, because that's why I love Dynasty. Is I love trading players. I love like trying to grab a little bit of value here, get a little bit of value here, or even just like, I like this player and his value's down right now, but I'm gonna go get him because I like him and I want him on my team. Uh, but I traded, I think at the end of 2023, right after David Njoku had his big like 40-point performance with Joe Flacco. I traded him and a 2024, maybe it was 20, maybe it was at the end of 24. Whatever year it was, I traded a second round pick and then Njoku for Derrick Henry. And so at that point in time, it was what Derrick Henry was still on the Titans. His kind of career was kind of ambiguous. Like, what's going to happen? Is he going to retire? Is he ever? When's the cliff going to come? When's he going to fall off? And so I made that, trade. And he's been kind of a linchpin of my team over the last 2 seasons, and it's worked out for me. I haven't quite gotten to the chip, or I haven't won the chip. I won the regular season, championship last year. Made it to the final against Andrew and lost because Terry McLaurin scored 1 point. Baker Mayfield had like 7 passing touchdowns in the championship.
The year ahead of schedule. My bad.
Hey, and listen, and the year before that, I knocked you out, man. So like both sides of this podcast, a little bit of playoff resentment there.
Yeah. But that's my biggest or best trade I think I've made.
I forgot about that.
But
deal,
I will
man.
say, I did trade. It's kind of funny looking at it now. At the time, it looked like a wash. I traded Jordan Mason to Anthony for a first round pick, Terry McLaurin, and Troy Franklin, and so that was a huge trade for me.
That's a huge one. Yeah.
Now I'm kind of like, man, I kind of wish I had Jordan Mason on my roster because my depth's a little thin. But hey, it's you win some, you lose some.
As an Aaron Jones owner, I also wish I had Jordan Mason on my roster.
Hey, we can trade that back. You can have Jordan Palmer back.
Let's talk. We'll talk. Actually, no, I don't want Palmer anymore. I take it back. Drew, what about you? What's the best move that you've ever made in Dynasty?
That is a toughie and I'll talk more about just like the trading nature later, but I do a productive struggle build in every single league in like all 4 of my leagues that I've done. So that kind of necessitates a ton of trading. So I got some doozies. But I think the best one, so like Travis and I did 2 trades before or Travis and I did trade before the season started, like right after we did the startup. And that really like set my team down a certain direction. But the best one I made that year was when I was out of it. I didn't really care about competing. I was trying to get a high pick the next year, which I think I wanted Marv. But the biggest one was I was able to buy Jefferson, although it was a really expensive price. So I don't love that one looking back at it. The better one was when I traded to a contender at the time who had just lost Burrow for like his little wrist ligament thing where he couldn't pick up a water bottle. I traded Trevor Lawrence and Cade Otton for Joe Burrow and Jaden Reed before Jaden Reed blew up. And then I was able to I literally traded for the Jaden Reed just because he was a Packer. And I wanted Jonathan Taylor off of Bryce, who's a Packers owner in our league, or a Packers fan in our league. And I eventually traded Reed for JT like later. And then I had Burrow just like off the IR, ready to roll the next season. So that was a big, that took my team from rebuilding to like juggernaut overnight, basically. I just had to wait for Burrow to come back.
Those trades were insane. And I think the Burrow trade was your best one as well, especially when you look downstream like you just did. So thank you for painting that full picture. I'll share mine.
Yeah, please.
Mine are controversial.
And you're more of a hesitant trader, so.
Yeah, Travis knows that very well. I'm sorry, buddy.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Come
on,
no secret
man.
to anyone who listens to this podcast. I know, man. So for those listening, Travis and I have discussed probably 10 different trades, and like in very deep detail to the point where it like feels like a deal is done, and then my hesitancy like blows the whole thing out of the water at the last minute. And for better or for worse, because in this offseason I could have acquired Derrick Henry, but I also could have acquired Terry McLaurin, and that may have been a wash for me, but Chase Brown is not performing well. So maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to say there's a twofold response here. I know there were some differing opinions whenever I got Josh Allen in our Dynasty League. This occurred after week 1 of the very first season of our startup league, or of our Dynasty startup. Josh Allen's my favorite player in football. He's also historically the number one or two overall fantasy football point scorer for like 6 years straight. Like it's actually insane, like how consistent he's been. So I traded Dak Prescott, CD Lamb, and a first round draft pick, which makes it seem so much worse, for Josh Allen, and at the time, who I thought was going to be a good rookie, Jalen Hyatt. Um, that didn't pan out well, which is why I hesitate to say that. But I do have on my team now Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, who are always the number one and two scoring fantasy football players in general, not just for their position. So I have a huge floor. I have a high floor for my team, going
Mhm.
back to what we said before. But to be honest, I think that my best trade that I've made is actually the one I did draft day this year. And I know, again, polarizing, but I gave up 3 first round draft picks to get back JSN, Laporta, and Jacoby Myers. But I've had injuries this year to where I have had to start Jacoby Myers and Laporta every single week, and I'm in first place. So it has paid off. And JSN is like way up there in receiving yards in the league. If he
He's
can start
second right now.
scoring, yeah, if he can start scoring more touchdowns, then like the sky's the limit.
Second to
So
Puka.
I don't regret it, either of them, but I think that the second one is probably better given the circumstance that I'm trying to win football right now.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? Is like, the way I look at like trades, especially trading picks, is like those 3 first that you traded for those 3 guys, best case scenarios, you hit on every single one of those picks over that span, and those players turn into the players you're getting back for those picks. And so, if your team's at a spot like where it is now, why you're in first place because you needed those players this year, and it just bolsters your like, yeah, those picks on a competing roster, they don't help you win. Like, yeah, they can help you kind of stay in the hunt year after year, but at some point you got to take some swings. And so, yeah, I like guys making some bets on guys. That's great.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, you have Laporta and JSN who have what? They're like 2 years in the league. They might as well be draft picks themselves, except they've already proven. So I was like,
Yeah,
well, I'll
absolutely.
spend 3 to get 2 guys that are guaranteed. Is kind of what my
Yep.
thought process was. And
Yep.
Jacoby's just a volume player, especially
I
now. I
like
Yeah.
mean,
Jacoby. Everybody likes Jacoby.
Yep.
yeah.
He's solid.
I was gonna ask the question. I want to be quick though, in interest of time here. So just one sentence, Drew. How do you compare a dynasty league to a redraft league, and which one do you prefer?
I'll just say which one I prefer. I prefer Dynasty for 2 reasons. One, the trading. There's almost like a day trading component to Dynasty if you want to play it that way, and that's really fun and like addicting to think about. And then two, I just like the attachment you get to certain players especially when you draft them. And like I drafted Bijan in my first ever rookie draft, and now like I'm just gonna root for that guy his whole career, and I get to be his like owner every year and like just enjoy him vicariously, essentially. So, but Dynasty rules.
Hell yeah, Travis. What about you?
Same here. I love dynasty leagues. Redraft leagues are fun, but if you don't, you can lose a league in week 2, right? If your first round draft pick goes down, you're done. And it's like, all right, cool. I guess I'll see you guys next year. But like in
Right.
dynasty, like if that happens, it's like, okay, cool. Let me go into rebuilding mode. Okay, I just lost, somebody for the year. Okay, let me go see if I can either trade some other players and get more picks and like try to, do a quick retool and, go next year, or let me see if I can, trade that player to somebody else for one of their healthy players. And so
Yeah.
it's a lot more strategic, and it's fun to play, GM for a little bit.
No, I feel that. I would agree, and for the same reasons as you guys. So again, very thankful to have been invited to one. It was my first one, and can't imagine life without it now.
Yes, sir.
I've asked. I was gonna ask you guys some very specific questions about running a long term league, but some of these things have already been covered. So
Hmm.
let me ask you guys specifically. I think this is a big thing when thinking about the dynasty league itself. How did you determine the number of teams that you wanted in this league? And then I know we kind of touched on this, but specifically, how did you choose who to invite for those teams?
I kind of spoke to it a bit, but as far as the number of people, so we played in a 12-team league. And so, like I said earlier, we just wanted a different flavor 10-team leagues, typically the talent is spread out a little more thinly. There's less, less teams. So you can get a little more stacked lineup. It's a little bit more easier to pull that off, where you just have more fun players. But then the benches, you have more fun players on your bench in theory. So that was really what into. We just wanted to have a chance to have a different format than the other league we were in, and 10's kind of the next best choice because I don't want to go to 14. I don't want to be in an 8 team or a 14 or something like that. So it's one of those are the two most common, and we just chose 10. And then as far as who we brought in, we basically like looked around to any friend that we knew loved fantasy, loved the NFL, was like a decent dude, and that could talk to people like a normal person, and
Well,
that we
well.
knew weren't going to bail, or at least we hoped wouldn't bail. So some of us might have thought a little harder about it than others, but that's okay. And that was it, and we just kind of put the feeler out there. I know I had spoken to you, Scott, and Zach and Jordan about just like a dynasty format, and you would express interest. And so when Travis and I talked about making a league, like it was pretty natural, like who to invite.
Yeah. Well, I think you guys did a good job, and I'm thankful that I was included in a list of decent dudes here. Um, I have one more question to
Yeah.
follow that up, and Travis, we'll start with you here. But obviously, in a dynasty league, you do have a lot of personalities for a long time. There's not a quick exit button that exists there. And you've already expressed that you wanted people who are passionate about football. So how do you manage all of the passionate personalities? I know that we all have strong opinions sometimes, and I
Yeah.
do that too. So, Travis, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's managing personalities and how guys get along with each other, I think has kind of been my uh biggest area for me to grow, I guess, in the commissioner role if I want to get that whatever. But like I like realistically, it's like, I've got, a buddy of mine that's in a league who refuses to engage in the chat and in the live chat or to respond to trades. And so like, we had those conversations of like, what's the bare minimum requirement for someone to be in a league? Well, they set their lineup and they pay their dues. And so the other thing is like, yeah, it would be really nice if he would respond to your trade offers, or it'd be really nice if he would do this or that. And I can understand that frustration. It sucks when you're like, that guy has players on his team that I want on my team, and I know that there's a deal that we both can work out that would benefit both sides, but he won't freaking text me back or he won't respond to it. That would. I've been in leagues where that's the case, and it pisses me off, drives me insane. But it's also tough when you're like a commissioner where it's like, yeah, but what am I going to do? Kick the dude out of the league for that? Like, no, like, cause then I got to find somebody to take over the league. And so it's kind of trying to have those conversations of like, okay, like what's the best way for guys to text you or get a hold of you? Can you at least like say no thanks or yes or whatever? And I think that that person's gotten better about it this year. And then, on the flip side of things, the passionate personalities, I think a lot of it is just I don't do a good job of refraining from, kind of egging certain people on, and to the point where it's just like the other 8 dudes in this league do not need their phone to be blown up for this entire night because I'm having a heated debate with a dude about how the Rams are overrated or whatever, or how Puka sucks. Like the, no one cares what my thoughts are, what this guy's thoughts are. And so that's where I kind of I need to do a better job of like, what's fun, what's good content for the league, what are guys responding to, and not just using the group chat as a space for me and Anthony to have our little debates about things. So
Hey, man, Anthony got jealous of me the other night. You and I had a
I
thing going on.
know, I know. I give an ounce of attention to somebody else, and Anthony gets all buttered. It's like, oh, I just miss you, Trav. I just miss you.
I love
Let's
it.
talk about the Rams. Did you see
Yeah,
Kyron?
seriously, man, that dude, his whole life is the Rams. I love it. I honestly, I respect it. Mine is not. I feel a certain way about the Rams leaving St. Louis and how they did it, but I
Yeah.
respect the people who still feel the way that I once felt.
And those are the type of guys that are fun to have in dynasty leagues, right? Like those are the guys
You
that are
got to have them.
engaging. Those are the guys
Yeah.
that are making trades. Like those are the type of guys that keep leagues going. And so I wouldn't trade Anthony out of the league for the
Nope.
world. Like
No,
it's
none of us would,
it's
man. And
too much fun. Yeah.
none of us would. And I will say that he drives me freaking crazy sometimes. There's been so many trades that were a done deal, and then he went radio silent for like 3 days, and then saw him trade the same player to somebody else, and then texted me back. But like, you got to have the people in the league that rile up some personality. So
Yeah. Yeah.
at the end of the day, it just adjusts my trading strategies, But like, you don't want these people permanently removed. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, guys, we typically would do a halftime pour, but I'm drinking a bourbon that I have drank before, so let me just shout this out. This is the Bardstown Bourbon Company Origin Series. This one's only like $40, and it is damn worth all $40. I'm not drinking anything new. We've gone over these tasting notes before. If you guys want to hear how this tastes, just look at a previous episode, but we're going to dive into some more fantasy football segments now. So, guys, we're going to a start or sit segment. And I'm hoping that these are challenging, but I want you guys to give me your opinion. So, start or sit at the quarterback position. If you have both these players, maybe in a dynasty league, are you starting CJ Stroud or Jackson Dart this week?
Spice.
Dart. Drew.
Hands down.
Okay.
Oh,
we got Drew. No, you're good. Travis, you said Dart, hands down. Drew, what do you
Dart.
think?
I'm taking Stroud against that Baltimore Ravens defense.
Ooh, okay.
Maybe he got a little hot last week. Who knows?
Hey, listen, at some point you got to give up on the Ravens D, right? And we have Lamar Jackson, who they're considering day to day. And if he's not on the field, their offense might not be, doing quite as well. You have a winnable game there, which might put some fire under Stroud's ass. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
I just go back to the IQ test or whatever they do in the combine, and how CJ Stroud apparently is a dummy. So I don't
That's
know.
what they say.
I don't know.
Dart has the most swagger that I've seen in a quarterback in a while coming out of the draft. Seeing that man do an actual dance, like a true dance for a touchdown celebration, and seeing the way he runs the football, the sky's the limit. But again, there's no Malik Nabors anymore, and that's concerning for me. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Sticking with quarterbacks here, and Trav, you can start this time. Caleb Williams or Drake May?
Give me Drake May. I know that Caleb's been looking better, but man, I just Drake May is like Josh Allen light. Like I think he's going to be the next Josh Allen. I think he brings so much to the table. He's starting to get his chemistry going with Stephon, and I like where the Patriots are headed. Get Travion the ball.
He's doing more with less, I think. And he came from the university that I work at. Drew, what do you think?
There you go.
Is this who would I play this week, or like who do I want in Dynasty?
For this week, who would you play this week?
Who did the Bears play this week?
I probably should have told you guys that, huh?
Either way, I'm taking Drake May against the Bill defense. Same answer as Stroud. Except
Valid.
I'm into Drake May. I'm a believer.
Yeah, I think
he
I would
doesn't
choose
paint
the
his
same.
nails.
I mean,
I definitely don't have any Dynasty shares of him either. LOL.
I will say that Caleb Williams has, for fantasy football, looked way better this year than last year. But man, Drake May just looks like a complete quarterback. I mean, he's doing a lot with very little. So I'm gonna stick to that. I think that Patriots team could be nasty in a year or two. I think they could be very good. Running back position. Battle of the rookies. Judkins or Genty? Obviously, Genty had a big week this year, but Judkins looks more consistent. Who we starting? Who we sitting? Drew, you can go first.
I am going to be starting Ashton Genty, as he went off last week. He's playing the Colts. I don't want to go against the Vikings defense. LOL. We'll never know.
Same traffic. Yeah, I mean, the Vikings defense is pretty tough this year.
Yeah.
Cut it.
Other running backs, a little bit less competitive, but on the same team. Would you rather start Henderson or Stevenson for the Patriots at this point in the year?
Henderson.
Week 5.
Henderson, not even close. Ramondre just can't keep coughing up the ball. Like he just keeps fumbling the ball. I think everybody saw what Travion did in preseason. All the reports out of training camp were glowing. The he's electric, and he's not fumbling the football. So I think that workload is going to continue to improve. Ramondre, I think he'll still be involved, but I don't think he's going to get meaningful touches the way Travion is.
Drew, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't want to start either of them at the moment. So one of them like really takes over is the short answer. But like Travis said, I definitely take Henderson. The arrow's pointing up. He got his first touchdown last week, and similar answer to May. I mean, there's a chance that like one of these running backs could pop some big plays against Buffalo's defense. So I would take Henderson, but I don't want either in my lineup if I can avoid it right now.
Sounds like he wants to start Antonio Gibson.
Oh. I think it's reasonable to suggest, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, this feels like a Rachaad White, Bucky Irving situation from last year, where in like 5 to 6 weeks' time, Henderson will have taken over that backfield and he's going to be the guy. But for right now, I agree. You don't start either of them comfortably. I think we're right on the cusp of the takeover where I might lean on Henderson, but I don't feel good about either one. This is a crazy one. The battle of the second years. Last year, Ladd really took the league by storm, and this year hasn't really done that. And Marv has been historically kind of an upset. So start or sit after Marv had a good week. We're starting Ladd or Marv this week. Well, Drew, you can go first.
Marv so easily. They're playing Tennessee, who can't stop anybody, and it was an emotional, spiritual moment when Marv scored that touchdown last week. I haven't felt that way watching a football game in a while. So give me my boy Marv. Plus, I've always been on team Ladd. Just he was a target hog last year because there was nobody else to get targets. So as soon as more people were there, I was kind of fading it. So give me Marv here.
Travis, I see you nodding your head. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no spicy take here. Ladd McConkey's the third best receiver on that team, and I don't think I just am not impressed. Marv is really good. I think he's a long way from being this stud alpha that we were hoping when he came out. He's got some got to make some strides with Kyler. They looked out of sync a lot of the time last week. But he got the monkey off his back and got in the end zone. So I think it's going to improve. I think they're going to invest in getting them on the same page. So I go Marv.
I don't think the talent has gone anywhere. I think it's a mental game, and I think scoring that touchdown, like Drew said, is going to mean a lot. This is a no-brainer. It's Marv. QJ is the best receiver now on the Chargers. I said that after week 1, he's continued to score every week, which is kind of crazy to think about. That man is a physical freak, and he apparently learned how to catch the football.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Let's go tight ends here, and this is a harder decision, hopefully, than it may have seemed originally. But Travis, you starting or sitting, Kelsey or Kincaid?
Oh, that's fun. My wife has both of them in our league with our wives that we're all in. And every week she's like, "Man, I should have started Kincaid. Man, I should have started Kelsey." Well, last week they had the same point. So I don't know, man. That's tough. That's real tough. I think I would probably lean Kelsey just because I don't know if Kincaid is ever really going to be a thing. Unfortunately, I know Andrew probably doesn't want to hear that, but there's always a chance for Kelsey to get the end zone.
What do you think, Drew?
My love of Kincaid is mostly a bit, like 95% of it. Maybe the other way around, depending on the day. But I'm going to go Kincaid here. He's got a little bit of a touchdown streak going. They don't have a ton of weapons in that offense, and Josh seems to really be trusting him so far this season. And hopefully it's that third year breakout for him. Tight ends used to take a lot longer before we had the Bowers and the Pitts and the Laportas. So give me Kincaid. I don't trust Kelsey. He goes 5 yards down the field and falls down if he catches it. So
as long as he falls down the end zone.
Hey, well, that's a take. As long as he doesn't drop the pass into the defender's hands, right?
Yeah.
But I will say this. I will say, with Xavier Worthy playing, I think Kelsey becomes a much better tight end because the field is stretched out, which gives him a lot of space to catch footballs. Kincaid,
he's got 2 weeks left until Rice comes and takes his lunch money. So
I'm going to go back to our previous conversation. I think Kelsey has the higher floor and Kincaid has the higher ceiling. And me personally, because I'm going up against a weaker team in my league, I'm going Kelsey this week if I had to make this choice.
And see, the other side of that is tight ends are so just like meh that why not make the ceiling play every week? Because every other tight end has about the same floor.
Yep.
I should have done that last week, and I considered it, and I wish I did, but you still would have beat me, so it's fine. I hate losing with 157 points, though. I do have to say that.
That's tough. You would have beat me.
Yeah, I would have beat damn near everyone. There's like 3 people maybe that would have beat me, and they all had huge weeks.
Yeah.
Last one for the flex spot. Are we starting start or sit Montgomery or Devonta Smith? Drew.
Monty.
Trav?
Monty. I have both on my roster, and I have to start both of them, but it's got to be Monty. Devontae's just not involved. Nobody on the passing game is involved, so it's got to be Monty.
Yep.
Well, like you guys, I grew up in the Show Me State, Missouri. And until Devonta shows me something, it's going to have to be Monty because they are clearly giving him volume. Devonta is so good, dude. And even in a half PPR league, he should be a lock, but he is not right now, which is crazy to think about.
You're telling me, brother. You are telling me.
All right, boys. I've got another segment for you that you have not been clued into. This should be.
Oh boy.
I think you guys will do well at this. You guys can see on the screen here. We have a wheel and an advertisement. Shout out to whoever that is. I am going to ask you guys for our fantasy football league, and don't look now that I'm telling you this. You might already know this. The top 5 ranked players at a position that the wheel lands on. And
from
Drew,
like current standings.
From current rankings right now in our dynasty league.
Yikes.
So our league, for those listening, it's a half PPR with a tight end premium. And otherwise, I think it's all standard scoring, right?
Yeah, for the most 4-point touchdown, little tight end premium, but yeah, 4-point passing touchdown.
Perfect. So Drew, I'm going to spin the wheel and you're going to tell me the top 5 at whatever position it lands on.
I'm going to be so bad at this.
It's a fun little exercise.
And the tight ends are going to be so weird right now.
Tight end's not a great one. So Drew, top 5 tight ends. Give me your best guesses. I'll help you out along the way.
Juwan Johnson.
Surprisingly not. He's number 7.
Trey McBride has got to be like 2 or something, right?
He is exactly 2. Yep.
It can't be Bowers. It can't be. This is so tough. Kittle only played 2 games, right?
He played half of a game.
Half a game. It's not Kincaid. It's not Laporta. It can't be Kelsey. Should I just go through the whole league?
Let's think about touchdown heavy tight ends this year. Let's start there.
Oh, Hunter Henry's got to be top 5, right?
Number 3. He has way fewer receptions than the rest on this list, but he has 3 touchdowns.
Okay, so, and
now let's go target heavy. Drew, you called somebody a cheat code a couple of weeks
Ferguson.
ago.
I despise Jake Ferguson. I don't want to acknowledge him.
Ferguson's
and then,
number 1.
And then, so I need one more.
You need
Ferguson's
4 and 5
number
still.
1.
Yes.
No way.
Is Tyler Warren still in the top 5?
Number 4.
Dude,
yep.
Tyler Warren is a dog.
And number 5, let me go back to my touchdowns clue for number 5.
Oh my gosh.
But not recently. Think about the first couple of weeks.
Oh, I can't remember.
There's a guy who scored 2 touchdowns in one night on a primetime show.
I can't remember that far back. I don't know. Who was it?
Tucker Kraft is number 5.
Oh, Tuck's still in the top 5? Dang.
Still in there. Yep.
Process cheesehead. My guy.
All right, dude, the tight end season has been so weird.
Oh, shoot. I'm not sure. Hold on. And, it's going to, there you go. You can see it's still spinning. Wide receiver for you, Travis.
Oh, boy. All right.
Before we start this, though, you're right. Tight end has been bizarre this year.
Yeah. There
have been tight ends that get 12 receptions in one game, tight ends that get 2 touchdowns in a game, but then no consistency at all.
All right,
Travis, top 5 wide receivers.
Rome Odunze's in there. He's got to be 2, right?
He's 3 actually. Yep.
He's 3. Okay. Quentin Johnston's in there. He's got to be in there for sure. Is he 1?
Number 4 actually, but he did, like I said, he's got touchdowns like every game. So yeah, you gotta have him in there.
Trey Tucker's not in there anymore, is he? Is he still in there?
He's not. No, he's
Okay.
not.
Thank God.
He fell out this week. He's number 9 now.
Okay. All right. So who else would be healthy? Boom. Puka's in there for sure.
Puka's number 1. Drew's like, yep, I know that one.
Yeah, whatever. All right, so we got Puka, Rome, QJ. So I'm missing 2, missing 3 and 5, right?
Yeah, you're missing 2 and 5. Amon-Ra's number 2.
Amon-Ra.
And number 5 might surprise you. And a lot of the points are from this week.
Who had a big week this week? Oh, I'm blanking. I don't know.
Drew, don't tell me, but do you know who it might be?
This gotta be your boy, right?
It is my boy. He's on my team, and his name is George. George Pickens is number 5 right now overall.
That's crazy.
That.
That's great. Good for him.
Monster Monday night. Yeah, that's great.
You know what? It's making me feel good for all of the misplaced faith that I've put in him for the past 3 years now.
Yeah.
You know, I almost got him from you this offseason. I almost did.
You did. You sure did.
Helps when Lamb's not there.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy, Travis, is I would have made that trade with Pickens, but then once we made it to the final destination for what I really wanted, you wanted Addison instead. And now looking back, I'm like, I probably would have traded Addy and kept Pickens.
Right.
That's hindsight, man. That's hindsight.
Hindsight's 2020. It's the worst thing in fantasy to go back and like look at all the trades that you sent. Like, thank God he rejected that trade.
Yep. All right, Drew, you either have quarterbacks or running backs next.
Okay.
Looks like QBs. Yes.
Certainly Josh. Lamar.
Josh. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can hear that. Josh is number 1 and Lamar is number 2, as all things should be in life.
Okay.
Hell yeah, Cyclones.
Mahomes has got to be 3 or 4, probably.
He's 3. You got it.
And then it's got to be Hurts and then May.
You nailed it, dude, but not in order. May is actually ahead of Hurts.
May's 4 right now? Dude,
May is 4. Which is crazy.
Cooking.
May's kind of nasty.
Yeah.
Dude.
Get that man T. Higgins.
I'm saying, man, imagine. I mean, he's throwing the ball to literally Hunter Henry, occasionally Stephon Diggs for one game this year, Booty. But, like, who does he have on his team, man? But he's the number 4 quarterback right now.
Yeah, I almost said Daniel Jones. I was like, he might be up there. I don't know. But
I think before this last week, DJ might have been in there. He's 7 now. And actually, you know who's 6, which I didn't know this? Caleb Williams is number 6, dude. That's crazy.
He was 3 going into last weekend.
Yeah.
That game against the Cowboys kind of does some heavy lift. But he's having a good year.
So, Travis, that means you have running backs, which will be the final one here. Top 5 running backs in our fantasy football league. Who you got?
Omarion's got to be in the top 5, right?
No, he had a very slow start, so he's actually 11.
No way. Okay. All right. Let me think about this then. Okay. So JT's
2. Yep.
JT's 2.
Let's take touchdowns real quick. Who scores the most touchdowns out of running backs?
Derrick Henry. No.
Last year. That's fine. I'm gonna let you cook. I'll give you clues in a minute. You got number 2.
Is CMC in there?
He's number 3. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got
tons of yards and receptions.
So JT and CMC. Omarion's not in there. I don't think Genty's in there, even though he had a big week.
Not quite. Nope.
So James Cook's in there. He's your touchdown guy, right?
1. He's number 1. Yep, you got it.
Okay, so I got 3.
So you need 4 and 5.
4 and 5.
One of them is someone that no one predicted before this year. Came
I'm
out week
blanking. I'm
one
blanking.
and had a couple of touchdowns week one.
Drano, let me phone a friend. Help me out.
I would not have guessed it, but I assume Scott's hit with like Javante. He's actually in the top 5.
Javante is still number 5
Dang.
after
And then
4 weeks.
the other name's got to be Bijan, right?
Number 4, yep.
Bijan.
And Bijan and CMC are kind of the exception. They only have 2 touchdowns each, but they have a shitload of yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As a CMC owner, I keep waiting for those notifications. He scored a touchdown. Few far between. So
I will say, so I was kind of down on James Cook coming in this year, and actually I told Jordan in our league, I was like, because he was like, well, I have a lot of running backs, and I was like, yeah, but you don't have a lot of running backs that I would want to start, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran down a list and gave rationale for all of them, which most of my rationale has come true. Like one was like, well, I think Sharp is going to take touchdowns from Walker. I don't think he's going to be like a high scoring fantasy running back. But to his credit, I said to him, James Cook is touchdown heavy. If he doesn't score touchdowns, he won't be good in fantasy football. And I am wrong about that because he, in 4 games, is averaging over 100 yards per game. And he still has 5 touchdowns.
Bag. You got that bag. And what's crazy is that trade that Jordan and I did. So I traded Jordan, James Cook, and A.J. Brown for CMC and Devontae Smith. So like swapping Eagles receivers, that's basically a wash. And CMC and James Cook has been more or less a wash. Like they've both been good. But like I look at that trade all the time.
That's
like,
crazy.
Would I have rather had? I'd be curious to see what Jordan's take is. But like I would have been fine with either side of that. To be honest,
yeah, it's hard to say. I mean,
or not.
As an outside perspective, I do feel like I might slightly lean on Jordan's side, but at the time that you made the trade, the timing matters. And at the time you made that trade, CMC was way above where James Cook is now.
And then he did that stupid thing leading into week 1 where he was questionable with a heel or calf. I was like, oh my God, here we go again.
But pissed me off, man. Pissed me right off. Because I had him in a different league in the Penguins, man. And that went like 0-12 that year.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you guys for engaging. I know it's fun to put people on the spot for some trivia stuff, but you guys clearly know your stuff with fantasy football. So I thought you were up to the task.
Not the tight ends.
Tight ends are weird, especially this year.
You know, if my team a little bit better, I might have had a better idea of who was the top scorers in the league.
Hey man, I think your team will be just fine. But I will say, Travis, I think your window is narrowing because your team is very good, but they're very old. Some of the positions,
brother, I know it.
Yeah, you got to get it done, man.
I got to win it this year and then trade all my players for picks.
Hell yeah. Well, let's jump into picks here, boys. The picks on this podcast are based upon spread. So not just who you think will win, but listen to the point total and then make your decision. I'm going to start with 3 big college football games this week. Florida is not ranked. However, they're still a very competitive team. We have Texas, who's number 9, going to Florida, going to the Swamp and playing Florida. Texas is a 7.5 point favorite. Drew, I'll start with you. Who do you have based upon that spread?
I know Florida has disappointed a little, but Arch is kind of soft right now, I think. And going to Gainesville, I will give those points and take the Gators.
What do you think, Travis? Oh, he's got the horns up. Okay.
Hook him, baby.
Let me flip him down. I'm going Florida as well for the points. I think Texas wins the game, but not by 7.5.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. There's no way they're gonna.
Arch is not who we thought he was.
I don't think it's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be a 2-score game.
I will say Texas has an amazing defense still, even if they've had some offensive woes. And it's not all Arch's fault. They've got a wide receiver whose name is escaping me, who has dropped a lot of passes. He's incredibly fast. He just needs to start catching the football. Big game this weekend, which is kind of crazy to say, but Vanderbilt is number 16 right now. And they're going to Alabama, who just beat Georgia. Alabama's number 10. Bama is minus 10.5. Travis, who you got?
I feel like it's a trap game. It's real easy for, they went in there, went into the dogs, beat the dogs. And, I just feel like it's a trap game. I think they'll still win, but I think give me the points.
Okay, so you're going Vanderbilt with the
Yep.
points. Okay, that's respectable. Drew, what do you think?
The Commodores, huh? Same.
Call me
That's
crazy.
all.
People have roasted me before. I'm open to it. Bama has been a different team since they lost week 1 to Florida State. They're hungry. They are actually who we thought they were, and they just forgot their motivation week 1. Bama
They
wins
looked
this
nice last
game.
week.
I'm going to say by 12. I don't know what the score is, but I'm going to say they win by 12. They actually are a little further.
All right.
And maybe they win by 10 and I eat my words. I've done that. I've been doing that all week this week. One of my favorite teams this season who has been so strong, Miami, number 3. Let me just apologize to Carson Beck. I doubted your game, but you guys, Miami looks good. They're going to Florida State, who just last week looked like a very, very promising team, but they lost, and now they're number 18. Miami is the favorite by 4.5 points. Drew, who do you got here?
It's tough because Carson Beck is kind of balling right now.
If Deeb was here, he would say, he's an alien. He says that every time.
He does. Just off the physical traits.
Yes. Yes.
That's really funny. But 4.5, man. I'll take the Knowles.
Okay.
And yeah. It's a tough crowd. It's a tough place to go.
I'm going to pass it to Trav. Well, I choke on my drink.
Yes, sir.
I'm never gonna pick the ugliest dude in college football. It's just not happening. Give me the Knowles. Tommy Castellanos is legit. I think he's gonna run all over Miami.
And you're waiting to draft that guy in our league, right?
Yes, sir. Well, I don't have any picks, but it'd be nice one day.
I have been a hater on Carson Beck's for like the last 2 years. He was great in Georgia. He's better in Miami. Give me Miami minus 4.5 here. Let's go to NFL. Division rivalry. Niners are visiting the Rams, and we talked about this earlier. As of right now, Rams are 6.5 point favorites. Travis, you can start this time. Who do you got?
Give me the Niners. Shanahan's got McVay's number.
I like the spice in that pick. Drew, what are you thinking?
I spoiled this one earlier. I think the Rams win, but I think the rivalry and Shanahan, I think the Niners cover, so I'll take the points.
I feel like I'm just combating you guys at every single opportunity.
That's all right.
But give me the Rams here, and this is my respect being paid. My dues are being paid for doubting them this year. The Rams are legit.
Yeah.
The Bucs at Seahawks. The battle of 3-1. Seahawks are minus 3.5 at home. Drew, who do you got?
I'm going to take. Wait, so Seahawks are given 3.5?
Yeah, Seahawks are the favorites by 3.5.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'll take the Hawks outright. That's a long trip from Tampa going to Seattle.
That is a big trip. Travis, what do you think?
Baker doesn't shy away from the spotlight. I will always pick my man Bake. Bucs bring it home.
I love the energy there. And,
Happy flight, baby. Happy flight.
Happy flight. Oh, I love that. You know what? I'm with you. Give me the Bucs. The Seahawks might win, but if they do, it's by 3. Because Baker will never let his team fall out of contention. Give me the Bucs here. And the last game we'll talk about, which again feels kind of insane to talk about for a highlight game of the year. But it's our Monday Night Football game. We have the 2-2 Chiefs visiting the 3-1 Jags. 2-2 doesn't mean much when you're talking about the Chiefs. They are 3.5 point favorites. The Jags are the underdogs here at home. I think, Travis, you're first this time.
I think the Chiefs win, but I think the Jags cover.
Okay, so you think it's a 3 or less game?
Yeah.
Okay, I love it.
I think it's going to be one of those. Yeah, I think it's gonna be one of those last minute Pat Lee's boys down the field, and they bring it home. Yeah.
While we're on the Jags, is BTJ ever going to be BTJ?
I don't know, man. There's weird vibes down there in Duval, man. The stuff with Liam Cohen and Trev one week, and then he's picking a fight with Robert Saleh, who's like one of the top 3 coaches in the league that I do not want to be in a fight with. Like, I don't know, man. There's some weird stuff going on down there. I don't know. It's just weird, man. Like he looks like he's quitting on routes, and he's dropping balls. It's just like a complete 180 from where he was last year. It's really interesting, but I don't know. I think a lot of it might just be that Trevor's just not that guy. Like Trevor's probably just a middle of the road quarterback, never going to be elite. But I think he's fine. But I think he throws some hospital balls.
Let me interject right there before we go to Drew. I think your last point is my biggest takeaway. I think it's time to move on from Trevor. I think the best thing that Drew ever did for himself was trading Trevor Lawrence off of his dynasty team. The guy is an okay quarterback. He has some skills, but I think he's not a leader on a team that desperately needs a leader.
Just got to cut the hair.
Maybe it's coaching. Maybe it's just fit into the scheme. Something has to change. They're 3-1, but they could easily be 1-3. Drew, who do you think wins this game? Again, I'll remind you, Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites.
Give me the Chiefs there. I know the Jags are basically winning off of turnovers, and Mahomes, to a fault, takes care of the ball at this stage of his career for the most part. They're getting Worthy back, and big win against Baltimore, and they know they're in a tough division, so every game counts. They're not going to look over a team like Jacksonville like they might have in the past. I do like Liam Cohen. The Jags are like a side team of mine, but I think the Chiefs are maybe going to go on a little run here, especially ramping up for Rice to get back.
I'm not going to name a number because I've been getting cooked all week on TikTok because I named a number for a specific game last week.
Oh, yeah.
But I think the Chiefs win this by a landslide. I think 3.5 is generous.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that because I don't want to get cooked for the number that I think it could be, which is 10, by the way. Jordan, I'm sorry if you're listening.
Love it. Spicy.
We're going to move on to the 2-minute warning, boys. This is the time where I quiz you guys with kind of would you rather style questions. Tell me what you're thinking for the answer and also maybe a little bit of rationale for why. And I will start with Travis. Who finishes this season with more receptions, Puka Nakua, or Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Give me Amon-Ra all day long. Puka's got... Yeah, I mean, Puka's going to get the ball from Stafford a lot, but I think Devontae was kind of banged up last week. He's always going to be involved. And Amon-Ra is he's got the best hands in the league. Not a question in my mind.
Okay. This man's doubling down on hate for Puka Nakua. I love it. Drew, who gets the first touchdown of the next game, Josh Allen or James Cook?
Josh Allen.
It's crazy.
Sick touchdown run.
It's crazy that's even a question, but James Cook literally scores every game.
He's really efficient, man. James Cook is really good. I like to watch him play.
What's more intimidating, playing against Lamar Jackson in fantasy football or playing against Saquon Barkley, Travis?
Saquon Barkley, because Lamar Jackson, he's scary, but it's different with Saquon, man. You just see him go, and it's just like he's behind that O-line, and they're force feeding the ball, and it's got to be Saquon.
There's just a bigger separation from the average, I think, with Saquon. I agree. Drew, who is the biggest fantasy football villain here? Someone who trades stupidly and boosts other teams up, or someone who vetoes the trades?
The snarky answer is vetoing because that's soft, but the real answer is essentially the colluder because that's just like, who wants to play that?
And we don't allow vetoes in our league anyways, so.
Yeah, veto is such a sensitive subject. But Travis, what's more dramatic in a loss, when you have a bench player that drops 30 points or when you have a star player that puts up 0?
Star player putting up 0 because the bench player's you made that decision already. I'm not going to start him, but you're relying on that guy in your lineup to put up points, and he gives you a goose. That's a tough pill to swallow.
Absolutely. Drew, I'm going to ask you one more here.
Sure.
Would you rather listen to somebody explain to you why a trade is good for you in hopes that you can negotiate, or only send direct offers but never engage in actual conversation about the trades?
Oh, 100% the explainer to me about why the trade makes sense. Because at least I can then not be dumb and have a conversation. I don't like to just talk to a wall on either side of that. So
That's reasonable. I will say though, man, both of those things can really piss me off sometimes. Like, why are you trying to tell me what's right for me, and you're only actually trying to tell me what's right for you?
Yeah, don't try to trade me Nick Chubb after Woody Marks got like 15 touches left.
All right, boys. Well, we congratulations. I think this is officially the longest podcast episode that we have ever done, but I've had a lot of fun. It's been great. Honestly, once we were still in the weekly recap at like 50 minutes, I was like, okay, we're gonna break a record tonight. But conversation's been great. We'll break this up into 2 digestible pieces for our audience, and it'll be
Love
good.
it.
But I would love to hear from you guys if there is any, what we call the last call here, is just any final comments that you guys want to have before we close down tonight. So, Travis, if you want to go first, any final thoughts you got?
If you're in a league, be nice to your commissioners. They have more on your plate and more things to deal with than you realize. And then if you are a commissioner, listen to your league mate. Like, listen to the guys in your league and let them have a say and rules and things like that.
Love it. Love it. Drew, what about you?
Pay your dues
echo
on
all
time.
that. Please pay your dues.
You know what? We should have had a whole segment.
Thank you for having me.
We should have had a whole segment on that. Sorry, go ahead.
just start messaging to our league, just a couple PSAs. But no, I'm just grateful to come back and just talk some football. This is really fun. I know Travis and I are really happy to have you in the league with us. We think Dynasty is obviously a great time. Hopefully all your listeners try to check it out if they're interested at all. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Of course, yeah. Well, let me start. I'll thank both of you. This has been super fun, very insightful, lots of great football talk here. And if anybody who's listening is either new to fantasy football or trying to expand their fantasy football reach, if you've made it this far, I hope you found a lot of value. There's a lot of great conversation in this podcast. And, it's just clearly a thing that we're all very passionate about. So if you guys are interested in more football content, keep following the podcast. We talk about it every single week. It is our favorite topic to talk about. And until next week, just cheers for everyone. And thank you guys again for coming on.